You are watching Touch of Class with Debbie Elliott. Welcome to Touch of Class with Debbie Elliott. Today I have a wonderful guest. He's a really hard community worker, Brian Pekari. And thank you, Brian, for coming to my show.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate
You're welcome. Since I was little studying about your bio, I don't know what I should start to talk about. So many things you involved, but you said you are Californian.
Yes.
So where you are born in California?
Yeah, I was born in the East Bay,
Okay.
over in the Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
And I went to school in Pittsburgh and Concord, and that was for all the way through high school. And then for college, I went to school on the Central Coast, down at
Okay.
Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
So always in California.
The thing that was great though, when I was at school at Cal Poly, actually that's where I met my wife.
Oh, okay. She is very pretty, beautiful
well, thank you.
ladies.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been, we'll be going on 25 years this year of
okay.
marriage. And yeah, we met at Cal Poly, but I had the opportunity, the motto of Cal Poly is learn by doing. So they encourage internships, getting involved, getting involved with community service, volunteering. So I had an opportunity to do internships where I traveled. I lived in New York one summer. I lived in New Jersey another summer.
Wow.
Traveled across the country 4 times in this process. I lived in Phoenix, Tempe, Arizona, doing an internship one summer. So I had a chance to travel by doing internships and trying to, with regards to business and
Yeah, I understand you are in the medical, pharmacies, biotechnology, consumer goods, mortgage. Oh my gosh, everything. Where you get so much energy from?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity
Yes.
within my career. I've had different, I guess I could say different lifetimes where I did have an opportunity to work in the consumer goods. I worked for Mars, M&M Mars. So a lot of people would know, the Snicker bars, but also a lot of people don't realize it is still one of the largest privately owned organizations in the world. Wow. And it was owned by the Mars family, so they owned a lot of other products like Uncle Ben's rice, dog food, cat food. So that gave me the experience in that area. And then I had moved into the pharmaceutical and biotechnology side and worked for that for over 14 years.
So when you doing all this kind of stuff since you were young?
After I graduated from college.
Where you get all this energy? But anyway, please to audience and camera, explain about yourself a little bit, introduce.
Yeah. So with a lot of these experiences that I have, and currently I work in the mortgage industry, but the thing is, a lot of it's very similar to what, and this is what I say with a lot of the community work that I do as well. I've been fortunate because everything that I've been able to had experience with in all these different industries has given me a full, wide perspective of how a community works, working with all different types of people, whether it's the government. I've worked with lobbyists in Sacramento when I was in the pharmaceutical industry and biotech, working with physicians, nurses, grocery, all these different, I worked when I was on the pharmaceutical side also, a couple years I worked in the animal health division.
Oh my God.
Because I love animals and was able to deal with veterinarians and dogs, cats, horses, pigs. So I've always been very interested in not just one thing, in a lot of things. And that's what I encourage. So many times we hear, because one of the areas that I do, I work with youth mentoring, and one thing I encourage with them is never let anyone pigeonhole you with what you have to do or what your interests are. Because I myself know I've always had a very broad array of interests, and I feel very fortunate that I'm able to capitalize and still be able to get involved with a lot of those interests.
So why did you move into Tracy?
Yeah, we moved to Tracy, it's going to be 25 years now ago.
Wow.
And at the time, I had just graduated from college, and my wife, now Laura, she received a job in the Central Valley, and I was working in the Bay Area. So at that time, the perfect place we were able to negotiate with the companies was Tracy.
Oh, okay.
Tracy was the most western city at the time. That was before Mountain House and any of the others that you could live to be within the Central Valley still.
I see.
But I was still able, so I would go, I would commute an hour in to the Bay Area, and then she would go the other direction. And we've stayed since. It's been a great community to raise our children, and we have 2 children.
Yes, boys and girls.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Our daughter, she's a junior in college now, and our son's a senior in high school. So it's been a great community for families. So and then with all the different jobs and opportunities that we've had over the years, Tracy's been a great central point.
Yes.
To be able to work. Theoretically an hour from Sacramento, hour from San Jose, hour from San Francisco, from a lot of the big cities, as well as going deep into the valley.
Now, Tracy community, no can do anything without you.
Oh,
Yes.
well, thank you.
You
No,
involve
thank you.
so many city things, community, and mostly I like to hear about you involving human trafficking.
Yes.
And you came to Tracy Women's Club as a guest speaker.
Yeah.
And that's right now I am interesting, but you have so many this thing here. You are just a few I can read for you. This is a board member for Tracy Crime Stopper, and advisor board member of SOA Speed Community Foundation, member of the Tracy Police Chiefs Community Advisor Board, member of the San Joaquin County Human Trafficking Task Force, member of the San Joaquin County Human Trafficking Task Force Education Outreach Committee, more, so many things. How you organize to put yourself those each this community things, how you do?
Yeah, where it all evolved, we started an organization almost 5 years ago, and we call it Tracy United to Make a Difference. And what it was all about, that was back in 2012. We were still we had one foot still in the door of trying to get out of the economic crisis that our global and our United States was going through, and our housing, the housing challenges that were going on. And then the other foot was trying to move forward, into production and progressing forward. So we formed the organization to try and be an example, first of all in our city and for our children and our youth, because at that time too there was a lot of inner fighting going on within our government. We were a lot of threats were going on about government shutdown, not communicating. So our goal at the time was to say, you know what, let's be an example. So Tracy United came from United We Stand or Divided We Fall. So we're going to stand.
That's great.
And then to make a difference came from in October, the fourth Saturday of every October, it's Make a Difference Day. It's one of the largest volunteer days in the
October
nation.
4th. Okay, great. We'll be back soon. Thank you.
You are watching the Debbie Elliott Show right here on Comcast. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 6 p.m. Thanks for watching.
At this moment, in Stockton, Sacramento, and San Francisco, a University of the Pacific student has made a decision to learn, live, and lead with purpose in mind. Here, it's all about moments that change lives, families, communities, economies, the world. At University of the Pacific, these moments give life purpose. They give us purpose, too. After all, we share one future. Join us, University of the Pacific.
Every journey begins with a single step. Are you ready to take yours? Here at Modesto Junior College, we can help you begin. The college offers a variety of programs and opportunities, including financial aid. MJC students can transfer to four-year colleges after graduating. Our instructors will prepare you for a successful future in the field of your choice. If you want a quality, affordable education with unlimited horizons, make Modesto Junior College your first step.
Here we are back again. So Brian, we've been talking about all kind of you involved, but I'd like to ask you first things, where did your interest in community involvement begin?
Yeah, it started as a young child. Actually, I grew up in a family of 7. My mother had 7 children in her family.
Wow, a long time ago, 7's not that big, but these days, people only have 1 or 2 children.
Yeah, it's unheard of anymore. And my father, his family had 9 back then.
Wow.
So the way I always put it is we were like a small community within a community, and you had to learn how to communicate and cooperate and collaborate, and those are 3 of the C's that we use within the Tracy United to make a difference in order to be a productive family. So within this unit, and I was very fortunate with the schools I went to and coaches and teachers and mentors, they always promoted to get involved and to help each other out. So that's where that passion, and it was just ingrained at a young age. I saw that it worked. It worked. It's helping each other out. It's if someone's having a challenge, it's lending your hand out to help that person. So it was just always ingrained from, like I said, a lot of my mentors and just the community that I grew up with.
Well, you can talk about bullying, you can talk about human trafficking, you can talk about the Tracy, the United. What mostly you like to talk about today in the short times? And
in a short time, I would say there's certain areas that I myself and we focus on with Tracy United to make a difference. The one would probably be youth mentoring as well as youth empowerment, because that encompasses where we're involved with anti-bullying initiatives, with human trafficking issues, because human trafficking, the average age is 12 to 14 that they're going after. So that's our kids, that's our youth. And then building up self-esteem, self-confidence with our kids and our students, because as the cliche goes, is they are our future. And I know myself, I had great examples to be able to show me and set good examples for me. So I always told myself I want to be able to help and give back as well as I was being able to give back too. When I was 3 years old, my father had passed away from a heart attack. Oh, no, thank you. And my mother, she was sick for most of my life. So the community stepped in, my brothers, sisters, coaches, teachers to help raise me, pretty much. So again, I felt indebted for that.
Now I
always wanted to give back.
understand you will involve so much community, and it's so fortunate to have like you. Trace is lucky to have you.
Well,
Really.
Thank you.
Yes. Really nice to have you.
What I would say though is no one person can do it all themselves.
No.
It's such a collaborative effort.
That's
But
true.
thank you.
Yes.
And the great thing about here in Tracy in our community, we have so many people like yourself and so many people in the audience who do step in and help. We always say as little as people want to do it or as big as they want to do it, it all contributes to
that's
the
true.
good cause.
Yes.
So
So,
thank you.
Lily, I appreciate what you do, all kind of community. And I wanted to ask you so many things, but you involve so many things. And can you tell me what's going on for human trafficking now?
Yeah, right now.
Is it going down or still same?
No, unfortunately, it's one of the fastest growing criminal activities in our nation, and
So
even
sad.
globally. And
So
a big
sad.
part of it is because there's a lot of money tied into it. When you talk about some of the fastest growing, it's arms trade, drugs, and human trafficking, and you'll find a lot of times they're collaborated together. But in those three areas, you can sell arms and drugs once. You can sell the human body 20 to 30 times or more in a day.
Gosh.
In a day. So unfortunately, it comes down to being very lucrative.
But
So,
those girls are young,
yeah,
kind of
very
high
much.
school kids age.
Yeah, the average age that we see here, because most people when they hear human trafficking, they think it's somewhere else, it's someone else's problem. But it is happening
Tracy.
here in our own backyard. And not to even just say Tracy, because we have had our own circumstances here, it's happening all over. And it's something that's kind of
So
under the
sad.
carpet. You just don't hear about it much.
But how they girl get in those kind of situation, you know, how they pour in those young girls to those
Yeah,
systems.
and there's all different techniques that they'll use. But one thing, you know, and we always say with you know, technology now, you know, it is such an awesome tool, but it can also be used as a weapon. And nowadays, 24/7, our youth, you know, we have kids that are down in second, third grade who have access to cell phones now. If they have access to the internet, they are potentially vulnerable, because that's one avenue that they'll use. There are sites that are called like Backpage, or even through the internet, they could be doing phishing. And phishing meaning trying to lure someone in. About 85% are women, that they're girls that they go after, but there is 15% of boys that they go after as well.
Is that
So,
right?
yeah.
What the
And
kind of people that doing it, like a gang member or?
that you see all different perspectives. And gangs, we are seeing, you're hearing from law enforcement, that it is becoming more popular. Again, because it's something that's very lucrative monetarily. And it's something also law enforcement is trying to get their hands around, because it could be very complex of an issue.
Yes.
And we're just learning as we're going every day. With arms, you know, there are definite rules if someone's trying to sell guns and such. If they're trying to sell drugs, there's definite rules and laws. In the human trafficking, it could be very slippery. It could be their so-called girlfriend who they're asking to go out and perform sexual acts to raise money. And a lot of it goes into control. It's controlling that person. So
So sad.
yeah. So what we would say is watch the internet, and it's all about education and awareness. We try and get the education out that not to be afraid of it, but to become empowered by it. And when you know the warning signs, at that point you know how to recognize it. And if our kids, if you say 12 to 14 is the average age, that means down to middle school, that they are trying to be recruited in.
Wow.
So we're just trying to educate them.
Well, we'll be back soon, and
You are watching the Debbie Elliott Show right here on Comcast. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 6 p.m. Thanks for watching.
At this moment, in Stockton, Sacramento, and San Francisco, a University of the Pacific student has made a decision to learn, live, and lead with purpose in mind. Here, it's all about moments that change lives, families, communities, economies, the world. At University of the Pacific, these moments give life purpose. They give us purpose too. After all, we share one future. Join us, University of the Pacific.
Every journey begins with a single step. Are you ready to take yours? Here at Modesto Junior College, we can help you begin. The college offers a variety of programs and opportunities, including financial aid. MJC students can transfer to four-year colleges after graduating. Our instructors will prepare you for a successful future in the field of your choice. If you want a quality, affordable education with unlimited horizons, make Modesto Junior College your first step.
here we're back again, Brian. We've been talking about human trafficking and anti-bullying, and also how did you start it? This is my question to you. Tracy United to make a difference. What the most passion reason you started this?
Yeah, the biggest thing for starting Tracy United Make a Difference was going back to 2012 when we were trying to move out of the economic crisis, and a big part of it was trying to be an example as a community. So there were community leaders and myself who gathered together and said, you know what, the pieces of it, Tracy United, so United We Stand.
I see.
And so that's Tracy United, and then to make a difference came from Make a Difference Day, which is one of the largest volunteer days in the nation. So we combined that to be Tracy United to Make a Difference.
I see.
And the reason was what better way to unite people through, no matter what our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, our socioeconomic backgrounds, our ethnicity, is through volunteerism. So that's where we started.
So you did it just yourself, or you had some group?
We had a group of people, a core that there were community leaders and teachers, and so we got together and we started to have meetings. We started to pull in education to incorporate at the schools, and then it just started kind of snowballing from there.
Oh, okay. So how many years now?
It's been going on 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And the success, they're getting better and better.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful.
And that's where we branched
Wonderful.
out to collaborate
Yes.
with over 160 different organizations.
Because everywhere my husband and I go, you are there. Most of the time, you are there. So that I know you involve a lot of stuff. But at this time, I like to ask from audience, anyone have questions?
Yes, I have a question. First of all, I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing. I mean, we need people that are out there trying to educate others and trying to help other people. If we have more people like you, then our whole community would be so much better. Our whole country would be so much better if we have more people like you. And you know, you're doing a great job with this show.
Thank you for calling me young lady. You're the only one. My producer called me, I'm 80.
Well, my question for you, sir, is, you know, you're talking about human trafficking and drugs and guns and all these things that are happening all around the world. How much responsibility do you think the parents need to have in what's going on with the kids? Because, like you said, the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, it's all increasing. Do you think that parents should expose their kids to a whole lot more stuff instead of trying to keep them from things? Because I feel like if kids know about things at a young age, it's a whole lot harder to convince them to do different things when they're older. You know what I'm saying? So how much responsibility do you think the parents should have in kind of putting their kids in situations to learn things early?
Yeah, and thank you for that question, because I personally believe in educating them at a young age. And the reason for that is because they're being exposed to it anyways. The opportunity, and I feel very blessed to work with a lot of our youth, and they tell us, and whether we want to admit it or not as parents, what they get exposed to is so much more than us parents even know. And there's issues that, again, when I had mentioned earlier, if they have a cell phone, which could be down at 2nd, 3rd grade, they're being exposed to things that parents would not be pleased with because it's accessible through the internet. So I believe we need to educate them at a young age. That is a challenge we're running into, though, because us as parents and sometimes as the adults, we feel we want to protect them from it. But the interesting thing is, by us doing that, we're burying our heads and we're not protecting them because they're hearing from somewhere else. They're getting the resources from, it may be misinformation, they may be already being fished at, you know, for whatever it be. They may be facing bullying issues and the parents have no idea because we're in denial about it. So I believe we need to start the education at a young age. There is always the concern about legality. If there are parents or adults who don't like the information to be conveyed to their children, you know, that there has to be disclosures. So that becomes a barrier we've recognized in our society to be able to get sometimes the education out to the younger kids. Because like I said, human trafficking, and this is a national statistic that we're given, is 12 to 14 years old is the average age. So if you do that, that's middle school. And if you look at middle school right now, they're not being educated on this.
No.
So they're out there vulnerable. So to your question, I personally, and I know there's a lot of people who are involved on the law enforcement side and who are a part of this issue, believe that we need to start it younger. Because if we're not, then we're working backwards at that point. They're already victims, and that's what we're finding right now. You know, they're already victims. They're 17, 18, they may be 25 years old, and they've been in the system for 5, 6, 10 years. So at that point, and it's everyone's issue. It's everyone's responsibility, not just the parents. Because when people say it doesn't affect me, it does. Yes. Because you know what? Once that person gets pulled into the human trafficking arena, their education stops. So if they're a 12-year-old and their education stops at, you know, say like 7th, 8th grade, who's going to pay for that? Taxpayers.
Yes.
So everyone who pays taxes, whether they want to admit it or not, they're involved with it, and it affects them. So I put it that way, not to put it in a callous way, so people understand it affects us all. It's our daughters, it's our sons, it's our friends, and it affects everyone. So it's everyone's responsibility, and that's what we try and convey. Not just the police department, not just law enforcement, not the DA's office prosecuting. It's everyone needs to be responsible, you know, in order to get a hold of these issues. Also in the anti-bullying arena as well. Yes. As well as the human trafficking. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has a question?
Thank you so much for what you do. What can we do as average Tracy citizens to get involved in this horrific, even bullying, sex trafficking? What can we do?
Yeah, thank you, Mindy. And what we always say is, you know, because of people's time allotment and what they're allotted to be able to do, especially here in Tracy, we have a lot of people who are commuting, you know, 70 to 80% is a statistic, yes. You know, so our time can be limited. So we say as little as you can do or as much as you can do, we welcome it. We welcome it as a community. What we encourage, and this is what we do, we have a process called the AEA process. It's becoming aware, getting educated, and then taking action. And we work with the kids at the schools on this as well as adults. And what we say is, what's your passion? Or what's your passion? Or you see something on the television, what makes you angry? And is that something you want to get involved with? And if you do the AEA process. Become aware of it, go online, get educated about it, and then we can help you for taking action, because we know those organizations, we could plug you in or assisting with what we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have a question?
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you for all the education you've given us on human trafficking. It's so important. My question, and both of our speakers before that pretty much covered it. Getting involved, I know is really important. And the age, and for me, I'm concerned because the 12 to 14, but they also have siblings. How young is too young to get actually the parents involved and aware of what's really going on? And second, also I know that you're involved in Crime Stoppers. There's a lot of people that see something that's unusual, but they feel like they're going to be criticized. And so I think that there are people aware that's going on and they're afraid to reach out. And with Crime Stoppers, I don't know if I'm asking this correctly, but how can they get involved with that, with the human trafficking, with the parents?
Great, thank you, Alice. And like the questions before that, yes. How young, you know what I would say is everyone get educated, because if you have children who are young, like we said, if they have a cell phone, and that could be dependent on what the parent feels appropriate to give them that cell phone or internet access. They could be on the internet and the parents don't know. The parents need to be educated first, then they feel what's appropriate for their kids. With regards to Crime Stoppers, thank you on that too, is one of the mottos, it's see something, say something. And we work with the kids on that as well for anti-bullying as well as the human trafficking. And there's an anonymous way, there's 3 ways that you can anonymously report without anyone knowing who you are if you see something. So by saying it through the phone, you could actually call. It's an anonymous number, 209-831-ITIP. So 209-831-ITIP, and you report anonymously, and they give you a number. So they don't even know your name, they don't know who you are, but if it's something in your gut that you feel is going on and you don't feel safe to report it yourself, you can report it anonymously. You can also type it in and send it, or you can text it as well. So that's one thing. In Crime Stoppers, the students speaking out through Tracy Unified School District, on every single page of Tracy Unified School District schools, there's a student speaking out disclaimer, talking about how the kids can report this way as well. If they're seeing something, and we're trying to help change the culture, and the kids are actually doing it themselves, is through the Bulldog Project at Tracy High School and the Kimball High School Jaguar Project, is to see something, say something, because, you know, the culture, even when we're growing up, you know, you're a snitch. You know, you yourself are going to be bullied if you're reporting on someone. So if they don't feel safe and they want to do it anonymously, who knows, they might save a life, they might save one of their co-partners, you know, or friends at school. They can communicate through this source. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, Brian, this is really good education, and people who are watching this TV program, they learn a lot of stuff. Some people tell me when I go Safeway or somewhere, they learn, you are Debbie Elliott. I watch your show and I learn so many things.